when did you feel comfortable yourself publicly talking about this? Because this isn't the first time you've been asked this, where within the community, especially when you're, SEAL Team 6, to openly come out and talk about it, it's a little bit of a risk you have, not from anybody like us, but it's from your own peers that may say, hey, Rob, what are you doing? Why are you talking about this?
Yeah, it started immediately because some of the guys on the mission weren't on the third floor. They were on the second floor, first floor, outside rooftops. The first question they got asked, that they asked when hey, Geronimo, EKA, who got him? And people said, I got him. It was actually kind of funny to me. I'm known for like keeping morale up, telling jokes and stuff like that. And my nickname was actually Nizro, NSRO, stood for Navy SEAL Rob O'Neill, Nizro. And the most common thing was Nizro got him. And I guess they would say, shit, we're never going to hear the end of this. Kind of joking. But that happened. And then, so on the way, people knew. We got picked up, guys on the helicopters. We're asking guys on the helicopters. We landed at Bagram. There were air crew guys, mechanics. They're pointing at me. Everyone knows. We all stood around his body. When we landed, the ground force commander, I won't say his name, he's still in. He went to Admiral McCraven, who was there, said, do you want to meet the guy who killed him? And he said, yes. He brought him over to me in front of the whole team. Admiral McCraven said to me, your life just changed. Like that. And then from there, guys got emails. They went home to Virginia Beach. We know guys in DC, New York, and Coronado. Guys are calling me because, hey, don't tell anybody, because they all ask who got him. So now bartenders know, everyone knows, to the point where, to me, it's almost like, look, the team got him. I turned right because of the guy in front of me. I don't need this shit. And it did turn awkward. So you're not getting the toothpaste back in the tube on this one. And then it slowly just came out. Even to the point when I did go back to Afghanistan, I did another deployment, got in more gunfights. But even when I left, the first time I talked about it publicly was when I donated the shirt that I wore and the flag that I wore into Bin Laden's bedroom anonymously. Like, it's there at the 9/11 memorial still anonymously. I'm not taking credit for this. Carolyn Maloney, who's a Democrat representative from New York, she helped me get the thing in the museum, but then we went back to a back room, and there was 30 so families of people who lost family members on 9/11, and she asked me just to say a few words. So I told the story of Bin Laden, going into his room, seeing him, killing him. There was even firefighters in there. I had the FDNY patch here just so that you're going to see this if I aim my gun at you. And the response was mainly, there will be no healing, but this is closure, having a face with a name. And I was like, my name's already out. I have written journals. I'm going to try to get it authorized by the Pentagon, which is the way to go. The Pentagon then gives it to the other agencies for the official version, and they signed off on it. And I just thought, if I can help 30 families with healing, I could help a couple 100,000 just with a face and a name. So, long story short, that's how it came out. But, my plan was to stay in the Navy for 30 years, grow a kick-ass mustache, and be an instructor in Coronado. That's it. But, you want to make God laugh, tell him what your plan is. So it was not like I just, killed him and then got on Fox News and started saying, look at me, everyone.
The book, The Operator, how long did the approval process of the book take?
That only took about 8 months for me, and that was surprising. I thought it would still be there. Yeah, because it has to get approval from everyone involved, and I'm assuming like SEAL Team 6 would see it and just throw it right in the trash, or someone at the agency. But I think it was well written, and it wasn't a political bias. I started taking my notes because in 1996, when I checked into SEAL training, my father, who thinks I'm involved with everything, he said, even before I got there, he said, there's a picture of drown proofing in Life magazine with these SEAL candidates tied up in a pool. And he goes, I see the calves on that guy with his back turned. That's you, I can tell. And I'm like, Dad, I'm literally not even in the Navy yet. That is not me. But he told me.
Was he a military guy?
No. Just he's my. I grew up playing basketball with him. Obviously, grew up with him.
Your dream was to go into college basketball and go to the NBA.
Work with him. Yeah. But it's just. He said, start writing a journal. Someone's going to want to read your book. This is back in 96. Start writing a journal. Someone's going to want to read it. And my response to him was, who is going to want to read my book? No one. But I did that. And so I had a manuscript, and then I just put the extra chapters in. I was like, you know what? I'll get it edited, and we'll just see what happens. And they approved it. The only thing they took out was the letter 6, and they made me say Special Forces instead of Delta.
To say what? And my years as a SEAL Team 6 warrior?
Firing. It doesn't. They took SEAL Team 6 off there. My years as a SEAL Team warrior.
Got it.
And so you'll see.
Why did they want that?
I don't know, because they had to. Because if you read the book, it says spent 8 years at SEAL Team 2, and then at SEAL Team 4, and then 8 years at SEAL Team edited. It's like, that's kind of cool, I guess.
And that was them. That's them telling you this.
Yeah, they edited that out, put special forces. And then even my publisher said, I think we have a book. Like, this is ready to go.
So how after the book was released, your peers, the guys that were there, the guys that are in the game, the guys from prior to you, post you, how many of these guys called and were supportive? How many were like, dude, what are you doing?
Well, it was explained to me when I got, two things were said to me I'll never forget. The day I checked in, like, so I finished selection that we call Green Team, checked into Red Squadron. The two things that were said to me were, when we all retire and get out, if we all work together, we'll be millionaires, but that's never going to happen. Didn't make sense to me. And then they also—
Who said this?
My commanding officer at Red Squadron, who's a great guy. I don't want to say his name because he's not here. Great guy. He's out now. I think he retired as an admiral, which is very cool. And then the other thing was, you're on a freight train right now that's going 200 miles an hour that way, and you can stay on as long as you like. Once you jump off, it's going to keep going. So there's guys I haven't talked to since. There's guys I've heard from that are fine, that are supportive, just because I did it the right way. And there are other dudes not so much, but face-to-face, everyone's been cool. I've had guys say, don't quite understand why you wrote a book, which is cool. And then, my comeback to them is like, well, we don't write books. I'm like, yeah, I saw that. I read that in a bunch of books written by Vietnam SEALs. I've seen it at Barnes & Noble in the military history section. No one writes books. But I'm happy that people, I wish everyone on that raid would write a book, including the aircrew, because I'm very happy that George Washington had a biographer when he crossed the Delaware. Well, I know what happened that night. I doubt he was standing up in the icy conditions, but I want to know that brave men went to do that to build the nation. And I want to know, people now are more interested in the training to get there and the helicopter ride in and the helicopter ride out than they are what happened on the target. Because who gives a shit? Bin Laden's dead. The team got him. But like I said, the humanity. Riding in, one of my best stories is when we're riding in 90 minutes, these pilots have been flying these helicopters for a week and a half. They're the best in the world, thank God, but we don't know if they work. We don't know if there's a private first class in the Pakistani armor looking that way with his finger on a red button waiting for helicopters instead of watching India. We don't know that. We could get shot down. 90 minutes. We got to live. So if you're worried about something, your worry is not going to affect. You're wasting your energy. So on the ride, I'm with dudes. I've known everything about them. We train together, we shoot together, war together, skydive together, all this stuff together. And I'm looking around the helicopter on the flight in as I'm counting to keep my mind off it, counting to 1,000 and back. And the funniest, I laughed at this. I looked down and one of my guys had put his headphones on, listening to music, and he fell asleep. And my thoughts to him were, you're asleep. Literally on the ride to Osama bin Laden's house.
Wow.
You have ice in your veins, and I see why women find you attractive. This is just awesome. I remember thinking that and then laughing. I'm like, what the shit are we thinking about? And then we get further in, and I don't know how I remembered it, but I have the tattoo. Is
he still alive?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And I said to myself as I'm counting 556, 558, freedom itself was attacked this morning by a faceless coward, and freedom will be defended. And I don't know. That's what President Bush said on 9/11. And that's like the realization, holy shit. This is the team, man. We're going to kill him. And if we die together tonight, what a fucking ending. But he's going to die, and we might die with him. But that's why they sent us. Like we're not taking him alive.
If you go like this, you said what?
Well, yeah. And my joke too is like, if they SEAL Team 6, we were like dropping a bomb. We're just going to tell you that we're going to tell you what happened on board. Pretty much everyone's going to die inside if they're bad guys. If they want him captured, there are nicer guys in the military than us.
How many people got killed in that?
On our guys or theirs?
Their guys.
4 dudes and 1 wife. And that was even something weird too that tells you about rules of engagement and how they're ridiculous. Why would you hamstring the middle linebacker on the first play on defense? When I got in, because they dropped us off, we blew a door that didn't work, came in through this way. There was already a gunfight in the guest house in the front, and one of my guys had shot through from the outside through, and he killed the courier and his wife. And he's a team leader. Like, he's a senior chief in the Navy, very experienced. And I came in, and he goes, shit, she just jumped in front of him. Am I in trouble? And I'm like, dude, forget, why? Let's go find Osama bin Laden. Fuck the rules. It's like, she jumped up. She's a martyr. That's a good sign. She's martyring herself. Yes, he's in here. Come on. Why? What lawyer told you should be worried about shooting the wrong person? That's why you don't carry cameras, whatever. We're here to kill Osama bin Laden. We're in Pakistan. I think that's illegal anyway. Like, we're under Title 50 right now. Hey, what is up? This is Robert J. O'Neill, former SEAL Team 6 operators. I was fortunate to be on some of the most high-profile missions in our very long war on terror, but I am now on Connect, and you can connect with me there, and we can literally talk about anything. You can text, we can do video calls, I can give you messages, and go to Connect, find me. Literally nothing is off limits. Any crazy questions you have that you may or may not want the answers to, I'm more than happy to do it. So find me on Connect. Again, this is Robert J. O'Neill. See you there.
If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.